Agents D16 and F5 walk the line of interns gathered in the corridor. Male, female, young, old, fresh, broken. All wear their bodies like waterlogged sandbags, hands palming the corridor walls. Only intern number 19 stands erect at the back of the crocodile, head and shoulders streamlined. He keeps eyes fixed dead ahead, a vague smile further bruising his lips. F5 nudges his partner. What's with 19? He looks like a kid on Christmas morning. You never know. Excited about being let out of his room, probably. None of them have any idea where they're going, says D16. Neither do we, unless you know something I don't. I've never done what was it? A fact-finding exercise? Aye. Doesn't really have a proper name yet. There's just this whole bunch of kit in the labs that never gets used. Nasty stuff, mate. F5 elbows D16 in the ribs as a further quartet of agents enter the corridor. These are from the technical and electronics departments, strapped into fire-retardant aprons and heavy tool belts. After regulation nods and greetings, the new arrivals take point along the length of the line. The last turns to D16. Set up? Yes. The manager said you'd know what to do. Yes, says the technician. He raises a brow and narrows his eyes, fresh implications carefully injected into his tone of voice. Any special instructions? No. D16 understands but refuses to cooperate. This was the manager's vendetta, not his own. The technician shakes his head. He knew he couldn't ever rely on arts agents for a straight answer. He places an ostensibly friendly hand on D16's shoulder, tightening his grip by degrees. Which one is 19? He growls, every syllable swelling the limits of his vulval chamber. D16 shrugs, jerks his elbow. That one there, at the back, looking awfully pleased with himself. Thank you, Agent, says the technician, and, turning to his fellows, right, men, let's get moving. Down the corridor and to the left. Communal Laboratory 7G. Techs begin shifting the herd. Some interns do require a little encouragement, but F5 can't help but pity those who are willing and mobile. Their expressions call up remnants of what it meant to feel insulted, to conceptualize indignity, as they shuffled ahead of sharp blows to the kidneys. 19's strides lengthen, his shoulders open, as he charges before the agent at the rear, his face a mask of swallowed fury. D16 nudges the technician he'd spoken to. Agent? Agent? What's the deal with 19? Special instructions? The technician dissolves into a rare grin. Oh, nothing too special, Agent. I've just got to make sure he gets a front row seat. Now, if you'll excuse me. The line trickles down the corridor. Unable to move any faster than fellow interns in front, 19 pinballs across the corridor to avoid the technician's jabs. Both agents need to make efforts to hide the slow gleam of pleasure at even this slight defiance. Finally, the double doors collide, sucking the slow shuffle of feet back to silence. What do you know then? asks F5. You said you've seen reports. D16 shakes his head, scans the corridor. I don't know enough about it, he says. You know something. Don't worry, he's in the management lounge, you can tell me. D16 grabs F5 by the elbow and manoeuvres him into an empty room. The agents look one another straight in the eye, a rare occurrence when the manager is around. It's a combination of a whole bunch of different stuff from before. Psychometric testing, analytical exercises, intimidation, control, and kids' party games. Something called implicit association tests to stimulate the memory. Show the interns a bunch of slides, take the first thing they think of, and lead on from there. Except you don't get a prize for the right answer. You get something bad happens to you if you don't see or say the right thing. You've seen the units. Nasty shit. And this is supposed to be more effective than the interviews. What makes the manager think this will make a difference? D16 attempts to snigger around an expression taut with horror. It's the word thing. You heard the manager. He's had it with all that talk. Words aren't giving him the results he's after. All these interviews, threats, deals, offers, promises, more threats, not getting anywhere. We've had zero information gathered that's of any fucking use. Half the time they're talking a load of shit just to get from another beating. Makes sense though. The language versus image thing. You remember how it was before. Up there. Nobody had the time or concentration span for words, mate. It was all pictures, movement, action, sensation and pain. The only language everybody seemed to understand. God, but does the manager seriously reckon he'll get something? People don't make much sense when they're in pain. Like you said, they'll say anything. The slides are supposed to help them along, track reactions, note similar responses to different images, then plug in the polygraph if there's anything worth following up. And has it worked before? I mean, why hasn't it been used till now? I don't know, mate. I don't think it does work. I mean, it's all interpretation in the end. I don't know why he's dragging it out. If you want to know the God's honest, I think he's losing it. You saw what he did to X44, to Bethany. I think he's, I don't know, afraid. That's something he's able to be. If a trained agent can let him down, this whole thing isn't as solid as it should be, which means he's losing control, and he'll do anything to get that back. So what does this all mean? What's he looking for from any of the interns? I honestly don't think he even knows anymore. The manager seethes back and forth across the plush carpet of his suite, tugging at cuffs with torn fingernails. Ripples of jewelled velvet wallpaper and the scent of dark leather are usually a warm welcome to repose. Today they repel, repress, an all too keen reminder of unexpected energy still locked in every tendon. He does not like to be disappointed. On paper, on file, the calm of the outside could only be a good thing, a clear indication of results from rigorous enforcement of controls. His reality spoke in a different tone. If the calm continued, if inertia spread, he was looking at a desk-bound existence. His scalp tightens around an incipient migraine at the very thought. He makes for the bathroom. This is his favourite room in the facility, bridging perfectly the gap between management perks and Spartan ideals. Square miles of sleek tile and butter-smooth enamel, all in flawless dental white and stain-proof chrome. Two facing walls of mirrored glass, doubling the purity to infinite dimensions. As he showers, the manager examines himself with a clinician's eye. His interest lies in tracking the development of scars and bruises, the better to assess the fight still left in those able to be prodded into a beating. As he washes, he savours the clamour of every ache and sting. It hadn't been the most productive of overground trips, he had to concede, but all was not lost. There were still injuries to tend and to impart. Finishing up in the shower, he steps into his uniform as into fresh skin, and into the lounge as one leaving an airplane on the first day of a long-awaited holiday. He was very much looking forward to refreshing an old intimidation tactic. The facility hadn't made use of the laboratory for far too long. Too busy wasting time on words and statements and questions and answers and all their associated lies. From now on, back to basics, practicalities. And as for issues of safety and accident prevention, every great historical movement that had ever been, that ever would be, required sacrifices along the way.